So I know I've done videos on this before. I'm well aware that I have done several videos of this in the past, but I just like making them because it's always fun to really play with my imagination. So yes, we're going to be doing another if I could create a Universal Studios park video. So this one is going to be, and I know what you're thinking, well, why haven't you done a Disney one yet? And I still might. I actually might, because we are only like 48, like what? I'm looking at my calendar right now. We're about what, 48 hours away, like less than 48 hours away from the new D23 convention. So I might do one in reverence for D23. You know, I might do one just for that. But if I'm being honest, guys, I am way more a Universal Studios park guy than I am a Disney guy. And there's a multitude of reasons of that. You know, I have family who works there. I have more fun when I'm at that park. You know, speaking as a Florida resident who literally lives like I'm only like 40 minutes away from Orlando where I'm at. So, like an hour over an hour tops, but that depends on Orlando traffic, because if you've ever been to the Orlando area, you will want to kill yourself if you've been in that traffic for too long. Anyway, but I have more excitement when I'm at the Universal Studios park, and it has more things that will engage me than the Disneyland parks. Not to say like, I fuck with Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, and there are some other rides here and there, but like between how expensive it's gotten at Disneyland, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, Disney went woke so I don't like it. I'm not saying that at all. I think just Disney, when it got too expensive, everything feels really artificial. It doesn't feel like there's a big plan for anything. I think like even Iger himself is reaching his late what's his name? I think he's reaching his later Michael Eisner era, if that makes any sense. I will also say that I think that it has been it's been kind of a clusterfuck in terms of money, and I just feel like the Disney, I also feel like the Disney fandom is just, Disney adults are, I'm sorry if I'm going to say this out loud, Disney adults are the worst. I genuinely can't, I understand that, I can't believe I'm going to go into this conversation. I understand that, and I sympathize, I really do, that for a vast majority, Disney adult fans are doing this because they never had a childhood, and they kind of got robbed of it. That makes a lot of, that, I've heard that story multiple times where they was like, hey, I never had a good, adulthood, and it's just me venting, and I get that, but, there are some Disney adults out there that are really, I really do not want to socialize with you because I think you're taking this too hard. Another thing that really did it for me was the Save Splash Mountain movement, and how how much vitriol they had over everything, even though they clearly ignored what was really wrong with Splash Mountain with the themes. So, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I think it's just fine. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's fine. But yeah, and I'm gonna say this: I'm not gonna sit here and defend Universal Studios either. They've done shit that I fucking hate. I mean, Fast and Furious, the ride. Come on, I know you've closed it, but God, get something better. And also, they do have an overabundance of screens. I will not, and I don't do Harry Potter or the Minion rides. So, but having said that, if Minions and Harry Potter generate money to the park so I can do things I like there, had it not been for the success of Harry Potter, we would not get Epic Universe, and therefore not a Universal Monsterland. So I am saying in reverence, go ahead, make another, make another one. Yeah, go ahead. That's why I wasn't mad when they said Ministry of Magic was coming to Epic Universe, because I was like, all right, that makes money, and that'll probably get some new expansions in the future. All right, I get it. So, Yeah. Is there such a thing as universal adults? Oh, right, functioning human beings. That's the correct term. Anyway, so after 5 minutes, I'm going to get off my soapbox real quick, and let's talk about what I'd like to do with a Universal Studios, like legit Universal Studios park, like how I would make it. Well, honestly, I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, we're gonna do the legacy thing and bring back a lot of like old rides, right? Like Confrontation and Jaws and all of them. Honestly, no. The only ride I am going to copy and probably improve on, well, I think it's going to be two. Three. Three rides I will bring back from Legacy era and improve on. E.T., because I feel like dark rides are a great... I've always been a sucker for dark rides, and Universal Studios is a very lack of them. So so I'm not only bringing that back, but I'm going to give it new life, new animatronics, some new, I wouldn't say screens, but I would say like maybe some updated effects here and there for a new E.T. ride. Also would probably make Spielberg happy. So there you go. Second one I would bring back, I am well aware that Confrontation is so it's not going to be Confrontation, it's definitely not going to be Jaws. But I would bring back the Ghostbusters show. I think that's one I would really like to bring back. You know, new practical effects, maybe some. That one would not have screens, but at night, nice to have some Pepper's Ghost effects here and there. And finally, I would bring back, even though it wasn't a day one ride, I would like to bring back Twister, but with a change. I would bring back Twister and make it an actual dark ride, like something in the vein of like. An actual, like, you're in a Jeep being a storm chaser and you're like having to dodge like practical effects like coming down at you. So that's the one I would really like to reinvent, is Twister, rather than it be like you're standing there watching the tornado and all that. It's like, no, you are going to be caught in the wake of you're going to be back in Waukeeta County, and you're going to be experiencing an F5 tornado coming at you full force. I would not include Twisters because that movie sucked. We're going original ride. We're going to make that ride be like the true sequel to Twister, where you have Helen Hunt back as her character, as Joan. You bring her back, you have her be like kind of like a professor now, and she's tasked you as these new storm chasers to deploy a new updated model of Dorothy. Yeah. So that's my pick. Like I would bring those three because I think you need I think you need shows. So Ghostbusters, E.T. is a updated dark ride, and making a show into a dark ride with Twisters. I know, like my friend Jason has talked about, like what about Terminator? I think Terminator that depends on Paramount, really. Like that really does depend on Paramount and James Cameron. But I will say that I would like to have it. But I think it would be the cheaper route to just do the Bourne Identity again. I think that would be the smarter route, just to copy the Bourne Identity. And the Bourne Identity show is not bad. I actually like how they incorporate the screens with the stunt effects. So I think I would just copy the Bourne Identity show. And I know what you're thinking. Why are you so invested in shows? Because those are people eaters, you see. The more shows you have, the more, the less lines there are for, rides for other people, and they also, are air conditioned. You can just sit down and enjoy a show while you're cooling off from the balls hot sun. So, yeah, there you go. So that's the Bourne Identity. For others, I bring, obviously you bring in the Mummy, maybe again some new updated effects. I would also say I'm not gonna do Rip Ride Rocket. That coaster's starting to really show its age. I think I would, however, use that and probably see. I think what I would do is probably instead of Rip Ride Rocket, bring in the Mummy. And probably use that show building, make it a little bigger, and make the ride just a weensy bit longer. Like, give it some this version new track, maybe some new like jump scares, something along those lines. And yeah, there you go. As for others, I would say, as for other rides I'd like to do in the area, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna, if I'm being if I was a CEO of Universal Studios, I would have to put in, Minions and Despicable Me. But I think instead of like I think I would not have the Minions blaster because I've been on it. It's not great. It's a stand shooter. I don't want to stand in my ride shooting at objects. I mean, yeah, no, thank you. So I think I would keep the Despicable Me ride, but I would not have the Minions blaster here. Instead, I think what I would like to do is a new version, like a updated version of the. If you guys remember Jimmy Neutron, of the Jimmy Neutron Blast, I'd like to do a new version of that show, but with SpongeBob. And well, the problem with that is, now that I think about it, is that half the shows I would want to include, like Loud House and a few others, would probably be probably canceled. So, alternate plan. Hear me out. Alternate plan is we make a deal. Universal Studios makes a deal with Warner Brothers, and we make it a Cartoon Network ride. And in that one, you are with I wouldn't say, and it would just be a celebration of Cartoon Network, because originally, remember, that used to be a Hanna-Barbera ride at the beginning. So what I'd like to do now, because again, I was like, well, Nickelodeon, but no, all those shows are all gone and stuff. So again, if we do a Cartoon Network show, though, a lot of those cartoons are timeless. So you can do one where you're teaming up with Finn and Jake, and you're just going through all the other cartoons like Amazing World of Gumball and Steven Universe and a few other shows here at original Cartoon Network. Maybe even throw in some classics too. That would be a lot of fun. So I think that would be a smart idea. For other things, we're not gonna have Simpsons, because that contract, I guarantee you, is gonna end because the Simpsons contract is going to be hell for Universal Studios in the near future, so I'm not even going to bother with cloning the Simpsons ride. So what I'd like to do is do the long-awaited, but I don't think I'm going to do. Actually, no, I am going to do this. I would have Pokemon. I would specifically have the original Kanto region have like a fun Pokemon Snap Dark ride, and I'd also like to do like a whole Pokemon, like it's Pallet Town. Like you go to Pallet Town, and that would, like, for all starters, and you can have like meet and greets with Oak and Ash and all these other characters. Of course, you gotta have Pikachu there. And I think I would also do, like, again, Pokemon Snap would be the dark ride. I think I would also do, I'd like to, if I could squeeze a ride in there, because I'm not going to have animal actors here. I think what I would like to do is probably another ride, but more like I wouldn't say coaster. It'd be more like trying to put this in words, like, where it's like, I think what I would like to do for this version is that it would be like a kind of like a simulator ride with exploring other regions of Pokemon, and encountering, like, maybe, I don't know, a legendary Pokemon, like, I don't know, Lugia or Ho-Oh or one of the other ones. That's just kind of a loose idea I've got. For other places, for other areas in the park I would like to play with, I don't think we'd get Men in Black, but I would say, because I think Men in Black is going to be out the door in very soon. I have been on that ride. It's great. I love that ride. But I know at the same time, it's starting to show its age, and the line and the attention for it has been dying off. It's one of the easier rides to get on, no matter what time it is at Universal Studios. So I think instead of Men in Black Alien Attack, this is where I would put a ride. I would put a ride that would be trying to put this in perspective. I think this would be where I would put a ride that is a reverence to, and this is actually where I might put the Twister ride. Now that I think about it, this might be where the Twister ride would be, or somewhere. E.T. would go along the Kid Zone with DreamWorks. We're gonna keep that, and yeah, there you go. That's my version of a Universal Studios. Islands of Adventure, I think I would keep mostly the same with a few changes. Obviously, we can't do Marvel again, but this time around, yeah, we are doing... Oh yeah, if you're wondering, I would keep Diagon Alley. Even though I'm not a Harry Potter guy, it makes money, so I'm keeping it. For Universal... for Islands of Adventure, we can't... the contract with Marvel and Universal Studios is different. So Disney can't really, like, alter it or anything, because that was made before the buyout. So all of that remains indefinite. But they would have to go through a lot of hoops to build a new Marvel area. So the absolute mad lads that I think Universal would... what I would do is go to Warner Brothers again and be like, hey, can we do Gotham City? Can we do, like, or like the Super Friends, like the DC Universe? So there you go. The DC Universe would be there for Island of Adventure. I would take out... Toon Lagoon would not be a... I've got two ideas to replace Toon Lagoon. One, to keep in that water ride form, it's Bikini Bottom. You know, that's been a lot of talk of that, like, hey, how about we do Bikini Bottom or, you know, Nickelodeon in general as the land. So here we're actually going to do it. Instead of Rickshaw Falls, it's going to be SpongeBob, and it's going to be a Splash Mountain type ride. But I'd also have, like, it'd be, instead of the Bildrat Barge, it'd be like Mr. Krabs' Goo Lagoon Voyages or something like that. But option 2, we go back to Warner Brothers again, because Warner Brothers and Universal, whenever it comes to park rides and stuff, they're tight. So my second option, instead of going to Paramount for it, we do a Looney Tunes land. It falls in line with the cartoon theme, and it's very much a timeless... Like, everyone knows Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes are always around. So that way you can do a water park. You can have it like maybe Bugs and Daffy are just fucking around and avoiding Elmer for the whole ride. Something like that. Jurassic Park would be updated to Jurassic World, because I already see the writing on the wall that Jurassic Park is going to become... The Jurassic Park River Adventure, I love that ride, and it breaks my heart every time I go on it, because it just is so... It's so run down, and they don't even bother repairing it anymore. So I think they are getting ready to, like, replace it with Jurassic World the ride, and that upsets me, but I understand. So I think this would be... We're going full Jurassic World ride, but we're not doing the classic... We're not doing the Reign of Kong ride. We're not doing that. Instead, we're going to expand on that with another Jurassic Park ride. We're going to do like another Jurassic Park Dark ride, and in here it's going to be like similar to the Jurassic Park ride at Universal Studios Beijing. Moving on over, we are going to be doing a... I know, I'm just going to bite the bullet and be like, yeah, Legend of Zelda would be at Islands of Adventure, and instead of Lost Continent. There you go. Finally, I'm going to put Dr. Seuss. But I'm also, like everyone else, I'm going to give this ride that actually was supposed to happen, and make a sled coaster for Mount Crumpet. Because there was supposed to be a Grinch ride that they have been trying to do, and that place needs love. Like, that's another place that just needs love. The Cat in the Hat ride, I would probably take out, because it's very clear even they don't fucking care about it anymore. Me and my girlfriend went on that ride the last time I was at Universal Studios, and she wanted to go. I'm going to go into this. She wanted to go because she loves Dr. Seuss and was like, "Oh, come on, it's hot. We'll be fast." I was like, "All right," and I was trying to explain to her, like, I just want you to know this ride's a little trippy. And she's like, "I'll be fine. What are you talking about?" We go on it. And she was like, by the end of it, she was like, what the fuck was that? It looked it was run down. The effects hardly worked. It was trippy as shit. So Cat in the Hat would be gone. I would replace it with maybe a more updated version of it without the spinning part. I think you just got to have Cat in the Hat in there as the ride, but it would not be the ride we see here. It'd be more updated technology for that one. Probably the best way I could describe like how I'd like to update the Cat in the Hat ride is like imagine the Spider-Man ride or the Transformers ride and change it to where it is more of a how am I going to explain this? How it's more of like a it's more of a less intense version of the Spider-Man ride. And maybe have it instead where it's telling the story of the Cat in the Hat. In this one, you're following the Cat in the Hat as he's going on an adventure and encountering the other characters from it's the Cat in the Hat Seussical Seuss Travels. And you basically have it's Cat in the Hat leading you through like all of these different lands. Like you encounter Horton, you encounter the Grinch, you encounter the Lorax. It's just like a Dr. Seuss best of. There you go. So that's my there you go. Hope you all enjoyed this. I like making these park builders, and like I said, I might do a Disney one because again, D23 is almost upon us, so I might do that one. But in the meantime, you guys tell me in the comments below, what would you do with, how would you make a new Universal Studios park? What kind of rides would you have? What kind of IPs would you bring in? Like, within reason, we can't do Disney, and there are some movie studios where it's like, that's impossible. Or would you make it one big legacy park? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.